Heritage and tourism are inseparable threads in the fabric of India's identity. In this fast-paced Pecha Kucha session, we will explore how past is not just history, but a living experience that continues to shape the present. When travelers visit Rajasthan on a handicraft trail to see how a dying art form is being revived, or when they stay in a restored haveli, they're engaging with history and making it their present. The first speaker for the session, The Past is an Incredible Country Too, is Aman Nath, co-founder and chairman, Nimrana Hotels, who is rehabilitating ruins and reviving India's heritage one hotel at a time. Welcome, Mr. Nath.
Yes, there is a, no, there's actually a, there's some slides which I wanted to show with this, huh? Do I have to control it from here? Yes, sir? Okay. Okay, I think there's too much light, but never mind. This is not a frame from a Fellini film. This is just an everyday shot which many of us could encounter on our way to work. It's a shot in Indore where a Mahant is on his way to a temple or a function. There is no elephant, so they found an ambassador car. He's sitting on top of it. And this is like just a daily happening in India. So when we talk about India as a city or a country or heritage, I think it's more like a river, because everything flows in India from the past, where the ancient, the medieval, the modern coexist in harmony. And for those of us who live here, we don't even see it as incongruous. So real India is something we need to show rather than hide. Lots of people are very busy hiding away India, asepticizing it, but they should be aware that India is the only continuously alive civilization in the whole world. And that is not a small achievement. That needs to be showcased rather than to be hidden. So whatever we have in India, we talk about the Taj Mahal, which is a 17th century Mughal monument of great beauty, but we forget how much more exists in India. If you look at Ellora, 400,000 tons of stone was hand-chipped over 800 years by God knows how many craftspersons, under how many kings, and how much patronage to make this most incredible temple, which they've carved downwards in a hill which was made from volcanic basalt. So it is nowadays, they've done calculations to how to remove 400,000 tons of stone. You would need how much time? And people say that, people are saying or imagining that somebody must have come from outer space to do this, because it is not even a human task which could be achieved. So everything in India is seen differently because we are such an old civilization, and we should remain very proud of it. In which other religion of India could you have a god who would take the clothes of all the ladies who worship him, climb up on a tree and get away with it and still be worshipped? And people call us an orthodox country. I think that we're actually very avant-garde and have always been so. It's our appraisal, which has been conditioned by colonizers, by books written by others, that tells us that we are orthodox or backward, because in many other religions, if you even propose an idea like this, your head would be cut off. Going further into religion, because religion is such an important part of India, if you look at the fact of what is Ras Leela, that all the women of Braj get up at midnight and go and dance with Krishna, who multiplies himself in a circle, holds their hands, they all dance in a circle. So at that point, there was once an objection raised by the moralizing people to say that it was immoral to suggest that married women would leave their husbands and go and dance with somebody else. So an intelligent poet of the time said, he wrote, I forget the details because it's a long name, he reinterpreted the story to say that all the women left their bodies in bed with their husbands and their souls went out and danced with the god. But the idea was that it was an acceptable proposition, not something that needed to be hounded. It's fantastic that India has come of age. And like you had the Dada movement in Germany, you know, when a WC was put in a studio and in a gallery, and people talked a lot about the art of a WC and the faucet and so on. Today, an artist, Subodh Gupta from Bihar, can take something so mundane as a balti and put it on one of the chicest beaches in France at Saint-Tropez. And I think that we could call it the Bihari Balti Beach, you know. I mean, this is a 6-meter sculpture, but it's telling the world that we can take them on our terms. But the reverse is also true. If we have the sacred is a lady artist who has reinterpreted the Kali, which was, this print is very interesting because in this, the garland that she wears are the heads of Britishers. This was done during the British rule, and they came down and closed this press because it was a revolutionary press, and since they couldn't object openly, they found a way to show the Britishers heads chopped up and worn as a garland by the goddess. And here, a lady artist can turn this around and give it another thing. So heritage continues in every way. We talk today of art installations, a very late arrival on the scene in India. But in my opinion, the biggest exercise in art installations happens in Kolkata, where hundreds and thousands of Kalis, which are built to such extraordinary beauty, are just in 1 minute, you know, you worship and you let the goddess go into the river. That confidence comes from what is called a living civilization with such an alive heritage. We don't, if we had kept all the Kalis that have been created, because now they are created in Egyptian form, Greek form, Roman form, in everything that they want, what sort of space would we need to house that? So museums, I believe, are for civilizations which are dead or dying, because they want to hold on to the past and feel how civilized we were. But in India, when somebody carries a lota to the field in the morning, they don't come back and say, this is an 18th century lota, it should be put in a museum and all that, because it's an object of everyday use. So the point I'm actually making is that heritage is in everything. And when 40 years ago, Nimrana opened, and there was no Taj Mahal in Nimrana or no Eiffel Tower or whatever people thought was to be seen. That was the beginning of experiential tourism, telling people that the whole of India is an exhibit, that all the people of India are fantastic, that all the children who go to school have sparkling eyes and beautiful smiles, and the world can come and see them. We have nothing to hide. Of course, there is poverty, and there are many other problems, roads, waters, but that has since, in the last 40 years, a lot has improved. You can now drive on 6-lane highways and reach places like this. So the Kumbh Mela, which is now covered by the whole world, 670 million people, they kept saying more and more, the number kept increasing. It's not something that you can order people to do. And it was people who came by helicopter, by plane, by bullock cart, walking, and there was publicity about a stampede, but which I was told by the people who organized it that the stampede happened because there were some VIP movement and they blocked the traffic. So when they opened the traffic in the very Indian way that we are, everybody ran in every direction to fill the opening, and then there was a stampede. But look at the achievement in a country where we say that we are not organized. If 670 million people were to arrive in any developed country, you could think of New York, Tokyo. I mean, what kind of havoc would there be? All these people were inoculated. They slept at night. They ate. They defecated. So it's a whole civilization on the move. And every day, one whole country like Greece, I was told, moved in and moved out, moved in and moved out. Imagine if it was to happen in Greece itself with all its land, what commotion there would be. So I think that there is great room for us to be very proud and to flaunt our heritage. To all the ladies in the room, it's fantastic to know that this is a fresco from Ajanta. It's 1400 years old. The ladies are wearing ikat clothes. The ikat looms are still humming in India. And today when we go to a fashion show, there's continuity of a sort that does not exist anywhere else in the world. This is the coat of Shah Jahan, which was considered the most expensive and refined garment of its time. And today, Kavita Bhartiya reinterprets it, with a gossamer fabric, and India goes on and on. And look at the advantages of India versus the world. Women are always a better example to take in India than men, because we are much more drab. Rekha is wearing a one-off because it's made for her. The next girl is expressing herself the way she wants, and the third one also. But the beauty of this is that the Indian lady is at ease in everything. She could wear the most traditional clothes, get married, wear a black trouser suit to a banker's dinner in New York, and not feel in any way deprived. And if you look at the reverse, let's say, I don't know what this lady is doing, I don't mean to be unkind to her, but if a European dresses up in a sari or wants to become a Maharani or become Indian, they are very clearly in fancy dress. Whereas the Indian woman is never in fancy dress. She could be in tribal clothes, she could be, what Aishwarya Rai is wearing. She's totally comfort and at ease, intimidating the whole world, but not ourselves. So when people talk about limited editions, we'll make, I was once in St. Petersburg giving a talk to Audi on their cars, and they said that we want to make one-offs so that, we want to make limited editions. Nobody in India wants to have one of 1,000 cars or 100 cars. They want to have one of one kind of car, because that's the kind of pride we have. So here are ladies in Rajasthan. Have I spoken too much? Yeah? I will finish off. So a lady in Rajasthan is never out of fashion. She's not told fuchsia is the color she must wear today or this season, because she's a Jat, so she goes to a village, she gets a green skirt and so on. Whereas, okay. Then there are many other ways to look at it. We had the storytelling, the Maharajas, the thing. So I think to see real India and focus, we have to change our perspective and show the India to the world in the way that we want to show it, also in the way that they want to see it. And I saw a very interesting example in Jaipur that somebody had got 50 rickshaws and there were tourists sitting on them, and they were just going in a train of rickshaws through the old city and having a time of their life watching what you can call a Fellini film on show. So what nimrana has done is exactly that, is take something that nobody looked at, put life into it, and made it something. A book came out saying 100 things you must do before you die. And it's not that. Now, this is Tijara, which was such an utter ruin that nobody in the country wanted to do it. We bid for it. We've turned it into something which is now remarkable, so close to India. Conferences happen there. And there are new ways that we should be marketing India, not always showing India with the Maharajas, the heritage. We should give ideas which are new. And here's one on which I could end. Which is not to talk about the morals of the country, but just to say that, so even for Valentine's, we said if you fight, you'll have to pay double the amount. So the idea is, let's flaunt India and let's be proud of whoever we are. Thank you.